Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege and honor. I'm Anton Bradel. I'm the Provincial Chairperson of the Democratic Alliance in the Western Cape. I'm quickly going to introduce the people on the podium. On my left-hand side, on this side, Dan Plato, also MEC for Safety and Security within the Western Cape. Next to him is my colleague, Minister Alan Windy. He's the MEC for Economic Opportunities within the Western Cape. Next to him, our national leader, Mmusi Maimane. Thank you for being here, national leader. And to his Minister Albert Fritz, also the deputy leader in the province. There's an empty chair, as you can see. We just await our provincial leader, my colleague, Minister MEC of Housing, Bongi Madikizela. He's on his way from the airport, so he will join us shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my privilege and my honor to hand over to our national leader, Mmusi Maimane.
Sanbonani Dumelang, Khuyamore, Molweni. It is my great privilege to be able to come and address you here today. It's great to be here in the province of the Western Cape, and I see the weather is certainly filling up our dams here, which is a great thing in addressing the weather we faced in this particular province. It's good to be here with members of parliament, members of the media, members of the provincial executive, and also to our fellow South Africans. I think it's now common cause that where the DA governs, we demonstrate to all the people of this country that there is a remarkable difference. We show the people of South Africa that it's possible to dream of freedom, a fairer society, opportunities for all the people, and ultimately ensuring that we embrace a crucial value of diversity. This vision is best encapsulated by the idea that we want to build one South Africa for all. South Africa upon which all our people can be able to find opportunities. And in fact, in everything that we do, our pursuit always in is to ensure that our future in South Africa is a shared one. It's one where all our people can prosper, where our people can find work. And that's why we always give people a better, a different future. In this province and in this city, voters have chosen that future. They've worked hard. We've shown that wherever we govern, we still run the best government. It is demonstrated by the fact that here in this province, we have governed for the longest. And in Cape Town, stand head and shoulders above any had to travel far, so I'm grateful that you are here. We've demonstrated that by showing the people of this country that in fact, we stand hand and shoulders above every in delivery records. We've shown that where we are, we deliver jobs for the people of South Africa. We've demonstrated we give clean audits, and we deliver for this government. And we show that in fact, from education to healthcare, from land reform to infrastructure, we've demonstrated to the people here that we sense a benchmark above all other governments. Fellow South Africans, state of where this province was at. Only up until a recent while did we see that there were many challenges here in this province. could bring a change. This is a province that has shown that even last year, not a single government department receive clean audits. We've shown that matric results are an improvement in our province, and we show we give more access and benefit for more people. We demonstrated the fact that business confidence can be increased in this province. This is the work that we do. And whilst things are not perfect, we realize that, but we want to continue to work hard to show the people of this country that actually where you build a and we can build a government that provides work for our people. Took over 7 departments. The last financial government achieved in Gauteng, which was barely on top with about 52%. Fellow South Africans, it's also become very clear is up, and if you want to start a business, I'd recommend the Western Cape to you. Life expectancy for men is to 66, and for women it's up from 64 to 72. Services work. We invest tremendously in public transport, we build infrastructure, we've improved schools, we grow the economy, and now we've managed to do it all through a global financial crisis, even the worst drought known in the last decade. It is no secret. The Western Cape stands head and shoulders above any other province. And most importantly, this is a place where the economic boom is being experienced in the country. I don't think anybody of us, we recognize the fact that the country faces a recession. And that's why in a country such as ours, it's important to build a capable state that can deliver for all the people. As I've highlighted, this DA government is not perfect. This province is not perfect. There's still a lot more work to be done. We've still got a lot more work to do in making sure that for Cities Province, we make sure they are safe, which is for me, having read the recent crime stats, makes me worry and makes it something that is of deep concern to me. Here, the national government needs to do more to ensure that the ratio of policing and citizens is improved. It's not good enough that our people go to bed at night worried about whether they'll be a victim of murder, of rape. Deep and a profound concern for me that even still today, we need the best government that will take on the national government to ensure that we address the situation. 6 million residents in this province, simply for them, count on the DA for saving them well. And we have to prove to the other 50 million South Africans that we're the only alternative government in South Africa. And it's going to be crucial as we go towards Gauteng and the Northern Cape. That's why the job of the Premier of the Western Cape remains one that is important for our prospects as a party. South Africa. The person elected for the premiership of 2019 will build from an incredible platform of good governance led by the DA's team over 2 terms and the team led by Premier Helen Zille in the last decade in building that capable state. As a province that delivers better services, a better future for every citizen in this province. So in announcing today's candidate, I have no doubt that we've chosen someone who is tasked in building on the successes, but also speeding up delivery, as I've highlighted that still, unemployment, whilst is the lowest in the country, is still not good enough. More must be done. And we want to be able to be the province that leads that job. Of course, the candidate that will be announced today will have tough competition because after 2019 we're working to get 2 more premiers. So the competition is going to be stiff. Gone are the days where they just compete with the ANC. I think it's clear that they've won that battle. Now we've got to make sure that we fight the battle to win against other DA governments. As we started to compare Cape Town and Joburg and Tshwane and Nelson Mandela Bay, these are competitions that we, in the DA, we pride ourselves at saying who can do the best for the people, who can deliver the best for the people. And so without doubt, ladies and gentlemen, with more work to be done, it gives me a great privilege and a pleasure to announce that the DA's candidate for Premier here in the Western Cape in 2019 is none other than Ellen Windy. I also want to acknowledge Tracy, who is Ellen's wife, who is sitting here in the audience. Hello, Tracy. Good to see you. And I thought it would be important for you to be here so that you can kiss your husband goodbye. So the next 9 months, he's certainly not going to be at home much. So I thought, let me give you your last date as a couple and then wish you the best. But Tracy, I know many people sacrifice in this job, and so I wanted, on behalf of the DA, to appreciate the sacrifice in advance of the work that is going to happen. What is undeniable is the fact that we're going to be crisscrossing every street, every corner, every community to ensure that we increase the electoral support here in the Western Cape. I want to say that Ellen Windy has the confidence of his colleagues, the provincial leadership, and ultimately the federal executive. I want to all acknowledge the fact that the provincial leader here, Mmusi Maimane, who was also a candidate for the position, has pledged unequivocal support to Ellen and is gracious and is a testament to his caliber as a leader and the strength of diversity that the DA has. And I think, sir, that is incredibly admirable, and I'm proud of the efforts that you've put forward. Campaign 2019 has already begun. To speak a little bit about Ellen, Ellen has served in the provincial government for a number of years. He was elected provincial legislature in 1999. He served as the finance chair and the executive committee member with the Democratic Party. He served as the chief whip, as the official opposition in the Western Cape legislature, and as the DA spokesperson on environment and planning. Ellen also became the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Tourism in May 2019, shortly after the DA won the Western Cape. And his position still holds today. His ministry now goes by the name the Ministry of Economic Opportunities, reflecting our focus on jobs and economic inclusion. So ladies and gentlemen, it's the only ministry that I know you can walk off the street into the office. I have been there myself on what they call here Terrific Thursdays or First Thursdays or some Thursday. But what's good about it is that it's the most accessible ministry. And so I think, ladies and gentlemen, without doubt, whilst we're spoiled for choice in picking candidates, and I want to say David Mania is also here, who has also stood for the candidate, and welcome, David. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. I think without doubt is that, ladies and gentlemen, it would be fair to say that I am here to introduce to you the jobs premier of South Africa. This is a premier who's delivered more jobs than any other, well, a premier candidate who's introduced more jobs than anyone else in the Ministry of Economic Development. This province has expanded its unemployment rate at 22.5%, is now more than 14% below the national average. And for this simple reason alone, you are well correct to call Mr. Windy certainly the jobs premier. He's done so by removing red tape, he's done so by investing in the right infrastructure, and ultimately he stands by the principle, if you eradicate corruption, you offer policy certainty, you can ensure that the economy grows. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Windy's track record is one where he's introduced 640,000 new jobs under his watch, benefiting every community. He's passionate about internships, particularly for young people who need work and experience to get their foot on the jobs ladder. And I believe with a track record such as this, South Africa faces a new challenge. And I want, at the end of 2019, when we go into the elections, let's compare jobs record for all premiers premier candidates coming up in South Africa. Ultimately, his team is going to do everything possible to increase the vote here in the Western Cape, to ensure that we govern with an outright majority, and ultimately continue the work that we've done here. I also, along with that, want to introduce another proud South African, one who served our party with great distinction, even here in the legislature. But he's now availed himself through a very competitive process to stand as mayoral candidate or mayor in the city of Cape Town. Ladies and gentlemen, after much deliberation in the party and a very good process, it also gives me great privilege to introduce to you the next mayor of the city of Cape Town, which is none other than Dan Plato, who is also here. Dan has demonstrated incredible commitment and integrity in the community. He brings a wealth of experience. He served in the city before. He's also been serving in areas Eitzig and Ravensmead. He continues in his he's continued incredibly in his work around social upliftment and poverty alleviation. And as you know, Dan has already served as the mayor of Cape Town. He's served with distinction, and he's left the city of Cape Town on a high note, with part of his team being pivotal in hosting a very successful 2010 World Cup, and the Cape Town having the best run city in South Africa. He's gone on to become the Provincial Minister of Community Safety, and ultimately we see he's continued his fight in fighting against crime, making sure our people know that if anyone is going to be an activist to make sure there's more policing, that there's safety in communities, Dan is that. He's implemented innovative new crime fighting projects. If anyone walks the talk, is in the streets, Dan Plato, has been that. He's introduced an incredible program on walking the bus program to keep children safe in our communities. And for 8 consecutive years in his speaks own and team that Dan brings to the city of Cape Town. I know, in fact, he will put his heart and soul into making sure this city runs well, that he loves. He will lead, and ultimately he will deliver. And I'm sure of Cape Town. This is One South Africa for All, and I'm grateful to introduce to you 2 candidates who have served with great distinction. Another now who will serve in the city of Cape Town, in none other than Ellen. I want to thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to our national, to the media. We now, we will also have, remember you as you put up your hand to ask the question. Anybody else? Is that Varda?
To the leader, obviously there's been lots of confusion following his announcement that he's thinking about entering the race. It caused an uproar in the city of Cape Town. I don't know if it was for the better or the worse, or played the role in talk a lot about race. What makes you perfect to rule everybody? Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Maimane. You mentioned in your address the best to take on to you? Is the Cape and national government, and then what happens to cooperative governance then?
Good morning, Jan Gerber, News 24. I would like to get more insight into the process that was followed for week. The announcement was withdrawn, or that you're interested. And secondly, what was the consideration at each stage? I mean, I can put it. What was the thinking behind each step? Thanks.
My question is, there will be 2 vacancies in the provincial government. When will they be filled?
Thank you. The last question. Did you get the last question? Yeah.
Let me respond to the first 2 questions. Firstly, the DA's constitution makes it possible that list across the country. And I think it's fair enough, because I'm animated by ensuring that the DA grows all across the country. It's a very crucial aspect, and I want to make sure we do well here. But equally so, I think what persuaded me, which was the question, was about making sure that we continue our national project. It's a very important one. As we campaign right throughout, whether in KZN, Gauteng, Northern Cape, everywhere, that we wasn't active in politics, but when the opportunity was presented for us to go campaign in Gauteng and in Joburg, we said Herman Mashaba ring, and he could do it. This is not about saying whatever role you play in the party is an automatic reward for you to go into public service in whatever role that is. That's why in the DA will always go through that. And the process is such that anybody can put their name on the table. We've asked each and every candidate to present for us a plan for government. What would it look like in the next number of years? And I must be honest, we were spoiled for choice. We had 5 candidates who stood here, 6 candidates who stood here. The 3 that I'll speak about are the ones who were ranked the highest in Bongi Nkosi, David Mania, and Ellen Winde. Presented incredible plans about the future of the Western Cape. What would it look like? Those are all assessed independently. They all appeared before a selection panel, which interviews and speaks to all of them about what the future would look like and what that means. And I think having gone through the process, that process delivers an outcome. And that outcome was Ellen Winde at the top of that process. And I'm grateful for the fact that even the 2 candidates who are here said, we respect it, we stand, here's the person who came top, and we'll support the DA, what the DA is. We don't say, if you fulfill a particular role in the organization, you must process. We always safeguard. Cooperative governance. Framework, it's part of the South Africa, and it's proudly so. It works hard. Our constitution fails, we must challenge. So you constitutionally manage. You've got to take what I mean, because it's in the cooperative governance is younger and Kyle Mitchell's government must do its job and make I think the Western Cape, which is what I would want for every. There's a question.
I think you said what rule really that this opportunity, and I say I'm humbled and I'm honored, but I think it is a huge opportunity, and it is something that I will put my full weight behind. But it is not team together. The foundation province to different levels. The job work has been done to now this privilege that me today starts off with, of course, you can only deliver once you've won an election. So we are going to have to crisscross this province with a team, and I say a team again. It's not about an individual, it is about putting teams together. I think I've shown in my own portfolio that that's what it is about. It's about teams. And we will take the excellent work that the DA has put together and achieved in the last 10 years and build on that. To really make a difference. There's a lot. And I will definitely this election to get a bill better to in the opportunities that
vacancies. This microphone is. I think what's going to happen is that obviously the process for one. So that how halala ndiyabulela Nkosi Baba. See, since changeover is happening already, we'll fill out those vacancies. That then it's a list, so we'll make sure the best candidate then goes on into whatever government we're discussing. So that was a process question. Yeah? Take one last one.
Last round, any Can we then close the questions, and then we will arrange 5, and then we will arrange one-on-ones after that. My 2 colleagues and okay, 1. Where was number 1? Jason. Yeah.
Thank you. Jason from the Argus. I didn't see any female candidates in this process. I just wanted to know, maybe you as a leader and your leadership collective, did you guys perhaps motivate more females to take over or to be in the running for this, because it's an all-male, it's all male candidates for mayor. Well, there was one female in for mayor and for premier. It seems it's
candidates. And then to the leader, you've in Cape, has anyone consult it was announced, advised you
times. Mmusi, to you. You also speak of a national project. Can you tell us what is this? What is this national project that you guys speak about? What does it entail? And lastly, you spoke about candidates. So, how these people after they why did you withdraw? Thanks.
Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News. Mine's just a question on process, not within the provincial government, but in the city council. Mr. Plato will have to take up a seat there. Has Patricia de Lille now confirmed that she's not only stepping down as mayor, but giving up her seat to make space, or how will Mr. Plato be sworn in as a councillor? And has the party given any thought as to what role Mayor Patricia de Lille might play in the party in future?
Mr. Maimane, there was a request made for you to run as Premier, like everybody has pointed out. What were the reasons given for that request that you run? Was there a certain lack of confidence in the people who had been selected as the top 3 candidates? And then also about the candidate, the mayoral, the person, Mr. Dan Plato, who will fill Mr. Lille's seat. Why was Mr. Plato selected when in the statement the DA said that all the candidates were excellent? So why was Mr. Plato selected above those candidates? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think let me start with your question first. Because when you've got 5 candidates, you clearly can't pick one. If we've only got one mayoral luxury that the DA has, that you end up with 5 candidates who are excellent and who are to get through nomination. This is to So to go through the, we'll deal with the as to how we can Let me speak to you personally about my decision. Maybe this is a question that Andisiwe and a few other people to say that the DA point, which is when I took over Cape in Nelson Mandela. Are consistent with the. You can't. It has to say to. We have. We can to eradicate corruption across all systems. To articulate and be consistent with that manifesto. So each of the candidates presented, it is plans. I would sit back and say, we would execute those in government, because when they go into government, they represent the Democratic Alliance. Also important, with any plan, you need to make sure you are in government. You need to make sure that we grow the support, because that the Western Cape's contribution is also important. When the request was made to me was that I've said this to percent here. Of any party so that was the concern. But it's not a Gauteng, there. And the beauty of the DA is someone announced of premier candidates across the country. I'm grateful. You'll have females and so that is, in essence, in many ways, the objective that I wanted to get towards. The reasons I took to not stand is because I also wanted to go campaign all across the country and make sure we support the other candidates. And I think it's wise. I sat with our federal executive yesterday. It wasn't anybody's decision. It was Mmusi Maimane's decision. I considered it. I communicated to the federal executive and to the provincial executive to say I would not avail myself, because I have full confidence in the candidates that were available, and I have a full candidate confidence in Ellen Windy as the candidate. Somebody asked me the question about females. I want more females in public life. I think South Africa, we need more. I don't believe in quotas. I don't believe that you can simply just engineer and say, you need so many females, so many this. I'm grateful that Shana Fernandez stood. I think when our lists come out all across the country, there's more females that are applying in those. One more. I'm interested in increasing that number of females to and who are females who have served. I think it's a very to see here Norma French, who is here, who has served in the provincial government.
South Africa, one South Africa for all. I thank you very much.